All right, welcome back to the program. Get this. Recently, a new study showed us that more than 70% of American workers now regret quitting their jobs in 2021. You know, the Great Resignation. It's now being called the Great Regret. So yeah, we have a lot of questions. And I think we kind of know the answers, like why did they leave their jobs in the first place? What caused them to leave? And what shiny objects did they start chasing that led them to leaving? Well, joining us right now is Mike Sarraille. He's the founder and CEO of Talent War Group and co-author of The Talent War. And he's both a Marine Scout sniper and former Navy SEAL. All right, just before we get started on this, was like one of them not hard enough? And you're like, Scout sniper, I'm going to go to Buds now.
I'm a very wishy-washy type of guy. I don't really commit well to things. No. Both are great communities. I enjoy serving my country, bottom line, and heroes in both those communities.
You must be fun when the challenge coins come out and the branch rivalry, gets a little louder after a few adult beverages. All right, let's talk about this. There were people that were told that their jobs sucked. They weren't being paid enough. They weren't being appreciated. Some of that might be true out there in the workforce. But people were told, don't worry about it. There's COVID relief. And we spent like $5 trillion. A lot of people were like, you know what? Now's the time to go biking across America or find myself or do art. And then they found out the hard way that their resumes took a hit. You know, there's an old saying, to get a job, you got to have a job. And now with the inflation, all that free money they got is long gone.
Yeah, this didn't last long to transfer from the Great Resignation to the Great Regret. It's not surprising to a lot of us in the talent industry, though. While people may have been subsidized by the government to take a break from their jobs, that was not going to last. Government subsidies never last. And now, given the current economic state of affairs, inflation, the uncertainty with Ukraine, people are realizing it's time to get back to work because, quite frankly, they have to in order to live.
You know, it was funny. I remember saying on my radio program, thinking of myself, I remember when I wanted to break into radio. And I wanted to break into radio so badly. I was in college. I was trying out for a local rock station. And everybody on Saturday mornings wanted a tailgate, University of Florida football. And the program director said, I need someone to do, before he can finish the word Saturday, my hand went up. And I remember saying on the radio, telling that story, that, you know what? If you were young and trying to break into something or move up, with all these people quitting, now is your time to make that move, right? If you wanted to make a move upward or laterally, man, sky was the limit when people were quitting their jobs.
Absolutely. The one ingredient that's not going to change here is hard work. If you want to move up the ladder, you have to demonstrate, one, you're willing to put the work in, and two, company man or company woman takes on a whole new meaning, and that is loyalty to the organization. But loyalty is a two-way street. The company needs to be loyal to you as well. If we're seeing anything, I think this is a sign to both employees as well as leaders in an organization that we need to double down on leadership. America has produced great business practitioners, but we are seeing a degradation of leadership in the business sector, as well as creating positive cultures. And when I say positive cultures, that is still a culture that produces results.
Yeah, but you know what? We rise to the challenge of competition, right? I mean, and I'm sure you could speak to this in your military career, that there's a certain amount of, I want to be a part of this group. And when I look to my left and I look to my right, I don't want to be the quitter here. And when you don't have that, when you see people quitting all around you, and you almost feel like, well, I'd be a fool to go to work when these people are going out and buying flip-flops and enjoying the beach or taking a hike or, doing whatever people do, Netflixing and, Netflix and chill. We almost created this environment where people felt foolish to go to work, right? I mean, it's dangerous out there. There's COVID. The government's going to give me free money. Why should I go work when all my friends are lounging around?
That was an incentive for me to quit during Buds, even though people were quitting all around me. It actually gave me more resolve to keep moving forward where others quit. There is a dangerous narrative out there, and whether we want to recognize it or not, I can argue that the foundation of this country is not only is democracy; it's actually free enterprise. It is the basis of our ability to influence, other countries, even in the international space. So, we've got to embrace that hard work as part of the American culture. We've got to get back to it. But there's also another thing too, is understanding that employees are they're looking to work for great bosses, other talented people, and they do want more autonomy and ownership to make decisions that are going to impact their companies as well as their lives.
Well, the other side of that's where I was going to go. The other side of this is it did kind of expose that, look, I'm not going to sit here and say every business is, innocent in the way some employees felt like they were being treated. And a lot of them did. They said this is an opportunity to head for the door and take some time off, maybe a gap year in employment. Do companies have to learn from this? And I'm not trying to hurt the bottom line, but do companies have to learn how to treat their talented people better if they want to keep them?
100%. So during the Great Resignation, we were working with a lot of companies that said, this is the time you've got to reassess your talent practices. Even though employees are now coming back into the workspace, this is your opportunity to look internally and say, what is our culture? What are our values? What do we do we put people first? We always put the mission first, but people always. So what can we do as leaders to create an environment where, quite frankly, people don't want to leave because they're working with great people and they're working with great leaders?
I remember studying theory X and theory Y of business that, one theory states that workers hate their job and you have to basically, you have to force them to work. The other theory is that if you make people want to come to work, you're going to have a happier workforce and a more profitable business. And look, there are some businesses that go with X, there are some that go with Y, there's some that go with a combination thereof. But what would you say would be the top things businesses, whether they be physical and manual labor, service industry, white collar work, what would you say is the most important thing managers and leaders have to do to make people want to come back to work and and have happy workers?
This is quite easy. Be a great leader. Be a leader that inspires. Be a leader that holds people accountable. Hold them accountable from a standpoint of, I want them to become competent human beings within whatever industry we're in. But you've got to pour into your people. You have to be a coach and mentor to your people. You have to show them that they care. These are the basic tenets of leadership. And quite frankly, MBA programs are not teaching this. MBA programs, like I said, produce great business practitioners. They do not create great leaders. And I would say that honestly, within our nation in higher education, we need to start teaching our people not only to know the functions of whatever their major is or what industry they want to enter, but we need to start producing leaders like we did back in the day.
All right, I got a little less than 2 minutes. So what about the old, I would never ask you to do something I haven't done? That's one thing I know about military training schools is that, all the instructors went through it as well. I think that's a key to getting, look, I've said that to interns. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I didn't do as an intern.
So we're in a current environment of rules for thee, not for me, and where we expect our leadership to be the best and set the example. The National Capital Region, we're seeing the exact opposite. Leadership and culture come down to one thing, and that is behavior. That is action. And so as a leader, if you forget all the other principles of leadership, remember this one. Set the example. Because I assure you, your people are watching what you do. And if you preach one thing and do another, that you're undercutting yourself as a leader.
Yeah, and what might work in the military, like, instructors yelling at you. If you make it your business to go around yelling at people, no matter what they do, you never express to them when they do a good job. If you're that person, you probably shouldn't be a manager. I mean, really.